So guys, today we're going to work on an electrical outlet. And the very first thing we're going to teach you is how to shut off the power and do it safely. Now, to do this project, you're going to need a couple tools that we have laid out right here. The first one is the most important tool, our voltage tester. Then we have a flathead screwdriver, an insulated handle. We have our wire strippers and a roll of electrical tape. Now, that's about all we need to change out this outlet. So the first thing we're going to do is take our voltage tester, turn it on. You see how it lights up green. When it's green, that means that there's no electricity present. When I take it over here and I plug it into the outlet, not only does it turn red, but it has an audible alarm too that tells me that there's electricity present. So now we know that there is still power to that outlet and we shouldn't touch it. So let's go downstairs to our breaker panel and we'll shut off the power to that outlet, and then we'll come test it again and make sure that we're safe to work on it. Okay guys, so now we're down in the basement of this 100-year-old home and we've located our electrical panel here. It has been updated, so we have breakers, and we're going to open this up, and right here on the door it has all of our different labels for which breaker does what. Now if you look closely, you can see etched in there are the different numbers for, like, this is breaker number 16. So we can look over here, and the electrician that put this panel in labeled number 16 kitchen outlets. But the reason we plugged our vacuum in upstairs, I hope you can hear that, is that we have two outlets that are labeled kitchen outlets, or two breakers that are labeled kitchen outlets. So we don't necessarily know which one services the outlet that we're plugged into. So what we can do now is go ahead over here and just flip our breaker from on to off, and we hear our vacuum shut off upstairs. So we know that that is the breaker for that outlet. So let's go back upstairs and swap out our outlet. Alright guys, we're back up in the kitchen. You can see that we have our shop vac is still plugged in, but it's not running. So it makes me think we got the right breaker. So we'll unplug that. And just for safety, we're going to take our voltage tester again, and we're going to check our outlet. The light stays green, there's no audible alarm, so this outlet is turned off. Now we're safe to open that up and replace our outlet. So we're going to take our flathead screwdriver and we're just going to remove that center screw. Okay, and that'll take off our cover plate. Set that there. And then we have to take off these two screws here that actually hold the outlet in. Okay. Okay, and then we'll grab this and we'll extend and just pull our outlet out like that so we can work on it. And if you look, the electrician that put this in did a nice job because he wrapped the connections, the terminals on the outlet with electrical tape. So we're going to go ahead and pull that off. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll start over here and we'll take our screwdriver and we'll loosen this screw. It doesn't have to come all the way out. And then the way they connected this is our hot. This comes from the panel. This brings the electricity to the outlet. Then we'll flip it over and we'll disconnect our neutral. And the neutral is kind of like the return line back to the panel. And then we'll go ahead and we'll undo our green screw here, which is our ground wire. That's our safety. Okay, and you can see how they loop the wire around that one. So we're going to have to put our screwdriver in there and just flare that open and then work that wire off of the terminal there. And there you go, we have our old outlet out, and we can put our new outlet back in. Okay guys, so now we have our replacement outlet here. And the first thing I want to show you is that not all outlets are exactly the same. So if you take a close look here, on this particular outlet, if we loosen this screw here, and you'll notice that this side of the outlet is brass, or brass colored. That is telling us that our hot wire connects to the brass side. This is our supply side. Then when we flip our outlet over, you'll see the chrome screws here, and that's our neutral side. Okay, so we're going to loosen that up, and on this outlet here, you can see there's this little metal plate in here that floats. And when we put our hot wire in here, we have to sandwich it between that plate and the bottom plate. And then when we screw this down, it clamps that shut and it gives a real good bond so that we have a good circuit. Okay, so let's go ahead, and the first thing we're going to hook up is going to be our ground. Now the ground's a little different. It just has a hook on it. And we're going to go ahead and loop that around. Then we're going to take our wire strippers here, and we're going to just close that up so it's nice and tight. Make sure it won't come off. And we'll go ahead and screw this down nice and snug. Okay, we're not crushing it, but we do want it tight. Then we'll go ahead and we'll loosen our neutral side here. Okay, and we're going to take our neutral wire, and we're going to make sure that this is open here. You can see that little tab move now, and I can get my wire back behind that plate. I'll put it on that side there. Okay, and I have to hold that in while I tighten down my screw. And we're going to get these nice and snug. Okay, you can see how well that is in there, and I can pull on that, it's not coming off. Okay, then we'll flip it over. Okay, and we have our hot side here. And we're going to do the same exact thing. Put it in there behind the tab. And we'll screw this down and sandwich that in there nice and tight. Nice and tight, nothing happening there. Now, here's the thing, it's kind of opinion, but a lot of guys will put their outlet in like this, okay? When in reality, your outlet should go in this way, where your ground is on top. And there's a safety reason for that. If something is plugged into this outlet and your ground is on top, and something metal or whatever should ever fall and go between your plug and the outlet and hit the ground first, it won't spark, it won't electrocute someone. If it's this way and something falls down here and goes between your plug and the outlet, it'll hit the prong going into your hot or neutral, and it can electrocute someone. So that's why your outlets are usually supposed to be installed this way for safety. Electrical tape. And we're going to go ahead and cover all these terminals to make sure that, one, nobody gets hurt if they should pull this out while it's live. This is a good safety feature that helps. So we're going to get this nice and tight, get it behind the screw there. Okay, and we'll just do 2 wraps. It doesn't have to be real thick. Make it just, if you go too thick, it just makes it hard to get it back in the box. Okay. So get that. We'll just pack it down nice and tight so it's all stuck on there. Then we're going to work our wires into the box. We have some excess plaster here. We can just get rid of that. Not necessary. And then we're going to neatly work our wires back into the box. And we're going to line this screw with that hole and the bottom one with its hole. Take our screwdriver and get these started. Sometimes if your outlet is too far to one side, you'll see where old paint was, or even a hole in the drywall or something like that. So kind of center it up and then go ahead and give your screws those final turns just to lock it all in place. And as you're doing the second one, just keep an eye that you're keeping that outlet nice and level. Okay, that's in place. So now I want to show you something that we noticed when we took this outlet apart. This is the original faceplate on here. And I've been tagged before by city inspectors when they come by and look at my project. See how that's broken? That's because somebody over-tightened this screw that holds the faceplate onto the outlet. They just cranked it down too hard and it cracked. An inspector will see that and they won't give you a pass. They will flag that and you'll have to replace it. You'll have to go get a new faceplate cover. And we'll just put that on real quick. And you don't have to crank this screw down super tight. You just have to get it on there so it holds it. It's not actually holding the outlet in place the first two screws we did. And we like to do that, and then we just set our screw to a nice horizontal. And there you go. Our outlet's completely replaced, safe and sound. We're going to go down now and turn our breaker back on. So nothing's plugged into this or anything like that. And I'll go down and turn the power back on. Okay guys, so I've turned the breaker back on downstairs. Now we're just going to take our voltage tester and we're just going to check. That's our neutral side, our hot side. So the outlet is live. We have power to it. But we're going to go ahead and plug our shop vac in and make sure that it's a solid circuit, because even though we have power to it, that doesn't mean that we have a good neutral that completes our circuit. So by plugging our vacuum in, now we know that we have a good outlet and everything's working properly. So if you guys are wondering what changing an outlet has to do with investing in real estate, which is what our channel is about, you can't always have a contractor come out to do something simple if you have one outlet or something like that. One, the contractor is going to charge you at least $150 just for a visit call around here. And two, a lot of them won't even come out to do a simple job like this. It's just simply not worth their time. So it's always handy to know how to do small jobs like this yourself.